Jason Swain, touchdown.
It's time for the Swain Event with your host, Jason Swain.
My man.
Real sports talk for the real sports fan.
All you chumps are gonna bow when I whoop him.
It's time for the Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Give me 2 claps and a Ric Flair.
Swain Event, SwainEvent.com, fueled by Dead End Barbecue, top 100 barbecue restaurant in America. I am your host, Jason Swain. Ben McKee. Close and closer to kickoff. Ben McKee joining us via Zoom. Ben, what is up, my friend? Sounding good, Ben? Oh, I don't hear Ben. We'll get Ben in here. Glad to be with you this evening, folks. Get Ben in here. I can get him taken care of. Ain't no problem. We got a lot to get to. Ain't no problem. We'll get Ben in here. Get him taken care of. Sometimes I just gotta, restart the other computer. And then Ben, voila, everything is good to go. We're good. Glad to be here with you. Let me get Ben in here right quick. Oh, I hear Ben now. We're good to go.
You hear me or the baby?
No, I hear you. We're good to go. So I apologize for that. Technology, get me weird sometimes. So we got Ben. Just had to change a little setting there, but good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in. We got a lot to get to because there's some rule changes that have dropped right before the start of college football season that is going to affect the University of Tennessee. Ben, I think Tennessee fans should be very, very happy about these rule changes because we saw last year how it affected Tennessee, especially against Ole Miss. I'm not here to sit here and say that Tennessee is 100% innocent of playing the game, but I am saying what Ole Miss did was way out of bounds and something needed to be done. So, Ben, are you pretty satisfied with the tweak is what is called here on BleacherReport.com, the tweak that is going to take place, meaning schools and conferences can report the potential faking of injuries to the national coordinator of officials, which could lead to penalties for the school involved. Ben, you good with this?
Yes, I think I am. Something is better than nothing. That's the way I see it. You and I talked about this last week on Josh and Swain, how frustrating it was that nothing had been done yet. But we also recognize that it's a pretty difficult decision to make as well. I don't think it's black or white or cut and dry, as some people believe it to be. But just off the cuff, I like it. My initial thought was, who cares if you're going to report it to somebody? What's the punishment going to be? Because I don't want somebody to fake an injury in the second quarter, or heck, the fourth quarter of the Pittsburgh game on the road, and that be the reason the offense gets out of rhythm, and that costs Tennessee the game. So I like that they put in that it could potentially lead, if the correct people, if the rules committee or whoever's in charge, if they find that it was a fake injury, then that player could be suspended. So theoretically, I don't know why a coach would risk having a player suspended, especially a starter or a player within your two deep. Maybe a coach really tries to get sneaky and throws in a walk on just for the sake of like if it's crunch time and the game's on the line, why not throw a walk on in the game and have him fake something? Who cares if the walk on's suspended? But even that, I mean, I think that would be a rare occurrence. So I like it because if I were a coach, then this would lead me to make sure that I make sure my players are not faking injuries, because I don't want them suspended in the future.
Yeah, man, this is more valuable. This could potentially stop or limit fake injuries more than in-game penalties, right? Because it's harder, I think, to catch with the naked eye. So we had this conversation, right, last week when you was filling in for Josh, and a lot of people were calling in, a lot of people were on the text box making it seem like, oh, it's easy to see. It's easy to see. It's easy to see. Just no, for the referees, like, you don't see everything on the sideline. You don't see hand signals and coaches on the sideline telling coaches to go down, telling players to go down. You don't see all those things. We see it because we see the whole entire field and the sideline. But referees can't determine, like we can, some of the borderline fake injuries. The obvious ones are obvious, but you can't tell. It takes for us to point out that we do some of it. And, you know, some of our fans don't even see it and recognize it because it's not as obvious as you think it is. It really not. But you go back to the tape and you review it, oh, man. Now you can really see it. Now, you may not hurt that offense. Using Tennessee as an example, it may not help us, in that moment during the game. So, like, if 10 injuries occur with the opposing defense and it slows us down 10 separate times, well, we may not benefit from the referee spotting fake injuries in the moment, but please believe that school is going to get hit with some type of penalty. Now, my question is, how severe will the penalty be? Because if it's severe enough, then we may see less of it during our games.
Yes, and I do need to correct pretty much everything I was discussing because I got my bullet points mixed up in this Bleacher Report article that you referenced. I was looking at the first bullet point of ejection for targeting, and that it might not result in being suspended for the first half of the next game, depending on the results of an appeal. So if somebody is caught faking an injury, I guess it could result in a suspension because it did say it could lead to penalties for the school involved. But it's not matter of fact that somebody would be suspended, as I was discussing. So to revise my answer to your initial question, am I pleased with this? I would say that I'd like to hear what the potential penalties are, because if the penalties are not harsh enough and dissuading schools from faking injury, then what's the point of tweaking the rules? So I like that something is trying to be done about the fake injuries, because something needs to be done about players faking injuries. but I would like to know what the penalties for the school involved could be, because if it's a little slap on the wrist or a fine of sorts, then teams are going to continue to fake injuries. But if the punishment is something like a player being suspended for the first half of the next game or a quarter of the next game or whatever, then good on the rules committee for putting a rule in place. So I'd like to know what the penalties will be before I have a final answer on what I think about this rule tweak.
Hey, Ben, y'all should have saw Ben. Ben put on his glasses. Then he was like, oh, hold on now. Now I see what they're really trying to say. Let me put on my glasses. Ben put them glasses on. The picture got real clear, which is the whole purpose of glasses, right, Ben?
Yes, that is exactly right. Now, I like I more so like what they're doing with targeting penalty. I mentioned it that
yes,
if a player is ejected for targeting in the second half of a game, then they may not be suspended for the first half of the next game. It just depends on the results of an appeal. I really like that, because not every targeting that is not intentional should not result in a suspension for the next game, in my opinion. It's football. You're hitting one another. You're going to accidentally have head-to-head contact often. It's just the nature of the game, unfortunately. And in this article, I like what it says, that it should be something similar to soccer, to where you have a yellow card and a red card. If you get two, quote, yellow cards for targeting, then okay. If you get called for targeting twice, maybe three times, then okay, maybe you should be suspended for the next half of the next game. But incidental targeting in the third quarter should not result in you being suspended for the first half of the next game.
I agree. Let's go to the phones. 865-255-03. I have two sets of phone numbers memorized. That's pretty good. I didn't mess it up. 865-255-03. Let's get to the phones. Good evening.
Hey, guys. I missed you.
Turkey Man, good morning. Nope. Good evening.
Good morning. Yeah, it is good morning, ain't it?
It's good morning somewhere.
Yeah, somewhere. Absolutely. Well, do you think that new rule on the targeting and the fake injuries, do you think it'll really, in the long run, it'll really make a big difference?
I think it will. It will. I mean, I think, why even come up with a rule if the penalty is going to be weak? So it's just hard for me to believe that the people that's going forward with making this a tweak of the rule book, I doubt they're stupid enough to be like, hey, you know what, we're going to tweak this rule, but here's a 5-yard penalty. Or, we're going to give you a 5-yard penalty the next time you play your game. We're going to either push you back on the kickoff return or push you back on the kickoff like that. I just think that's a little soft. I think it has to be something that's going to deter people from really, really going through with fake injuries, because it's just not good for the game. Like, it's no different than flopping in basketball. They had to get that out of the game because it was just bad. It's bad for the game. So you got to get it out of there. It's bad for the integrity of the game. That's why I think in the long run, Turkey Man, it's going to be beneficial. And thank goodness we got a tweak with the targeting, because Ben nailed it. Sometimes it's incidental. Sometimes you're head hunting, and you can kind of tell who's head hunting and who's not. But for the most part, these are incidental hits to the head where the offensive player lowers their head and the defense player is simply just trying to make a tackle, and they just so happen to bump heads. That doesn't mean that player should be out for the second half and the first half of the next game. Like, that's crazy. The first half of the next game, that's just silly to me. So glad that they are.
I don't even think they should be ejected for the rest of the game, unless, again, like I mentioned, if it's like soccer and you get a second yellow card, or if it's your second targeting or your third targeting of the game, then okay.
But what if it's
probably
egregious, though? Like, what if it's
yeah. I'm saying like I think when the incidental, I think of Jalen Reeves Maben on the punt return against Appy State in 2016. Like, he should not. Yes, a 15-yard penalty should have been assessed, but he should not be kicked out for the rest of the game.
I'm with you. Yeah, I'm with you. I agree with you. I don't like agreeing with you.
I was concerned that you was going to be in high school tonight.
No, I'm not doing high school this year, Turkey Man.
Let me tell you a penalty situation happened back in high school real quick.
Back in, when you was in high school, Turkey Man?
Well, yeah, a little few years after I graduated. It was early. It was after I graduated.
Okay.
But I knew the old boy.
Okay.
He was the center on the team, and he worked on dairy farm. His dad's a dairy farmer, and a calf kicked his eye out when he was younger. So he had a false eye. Going down the rain.
He had a fake eye?
So he had a fake eye.
Okay.
Yeah, he had a fake eye. Okay.
See what this is
And
going.
so, so he gets. We get those timeouts. We need timeout. Well, he took out and set it on the ground, looking up. Then he went. Everybody looking for the contact lens. They're looking for his fake eye. Where the referee didn't realize that he was looking for his eye. He held his eye down because he said he's knocked his eye out. Of course, that freaked the ref. And all of a sudden, he looks down, and that fake eye is looking up out of the mud. He said, "Oh, there it is." He picks it up, brushes it off, and pops it back.
Turkey Man.
Back in. The ref just passed out.
The ref passed out?
That's what that story is. He just passed
Was
out.
it a hit that caused the eye to come out?
No.
It just popped out. It just got tired of being in the head. Just say, you know what, I'm out of here, and it just flopped on the ground.
Time out. Yeah. He was center, and so he just set it up there, where it wasn't going to stomp because he didn't want it stomped. So he set it up right there where he's going to be able to find it, protect it, and he's looking for his fake eye.
Oh,
so we need a timeout.
Oh, Turkey.
So that's probably that's the best timeout scenario I know of.
Oh, Turkey Man. Turkey Man, thank you, man. Thank you for sharing that. Turkey Man, imagine, and thank you, Turkey Man, for the phone call. Thank you for sharing that, man. Imagine being if Turkey Man lived in a time where there were smartphones and video phones, and someone's eye popped out on the ground during the game, and the ref saw it, and the eye looked up at the ref, and the ref looked down the eye and just passed out.
Now, to be fair, I probably would have passed out in that instance as well.
Hey, man, imagine if we have smartphones. All right, I'm going back to the phones. Good evening. Who do we have with us? Who we got? Hello? Who we got? Oh, there we go. Can you hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Oh, there
can
we
you
go.
hear me?
I can hear you, Volstorm. No one's ever said that to you before.
Now I wish my ear would fall off.
What the hell have I turned on?
Turkey Man talking about eyeballs falling out and players, eye socket and being on the ground and the referee looking down and the ref passing out. That's what he's talking about.
Do you get a 15-yard penalty for your eye falling out?
Something needs to happen. Something needs to happen. You can't just be holding up the whole game and then you pop your eye back in and act like everything's cool. No. You gotta go to the sideline, gentlemen, sir. Go to the sideline. Go fix that.
You're gonna have to sit out the rest of the series for that one.
At least the rest of the series, man. Get your eyeball taken care of, man. Oh,
I wonder if he goes on over to the sideline, like putting the contact back in. They just give him another eye.
Oh man, hey, I tell you one thing: if it's the right eye and he's the right tackle, and he gives up a sack, I mean, he really has a good excuse. Coach, I didn't see him, Coach.
Coach, I literally didn't see him.
I did not see him, Coach. I didn't have my eyeball in.
Oh God. So what are the new rule changes?
Little tweak.
Like what?
A little tweak. The schools and conferences can report potential faking of injuries, and it could lead to penalties for the schools or school involved. So, like, Ole Miss, they would have got some phone calls the next day.
Oh, so nothing will happen.
Not during the game, but, like, after the game, moving forward, like, they can get penalties after reviewing the film.
Yeah, so depending upon the school, nothing will happen.
Precisely. If it's Alabama, nothing will happen. But they don't do that. He was thinking the same thing. I mean, they don't fake injuries, though.
Oh, they don't have to.
Well, exactly. Exactly.
Yeah, I wonder how many calls they're going to get about Lane Kiffin this season.
Hey, we'll see if they play a team that is up tempo.
I don't know if they have anybody like that on their schedule.
I don't
Except
know.
maybe Mike Leach, but he's not really that fast.
No, he just likes to pass it every single play. But yeah, I can't wait to see if someone actually is going to fake injuries and make it obvious. I want to see what happens. I'm sure we will hear about it because we'll have teams try to do it to us.
Oh yeah. Josh Heupel will be making a phone call every week.
If I'm Josh Heupel, I'm getting somebody during the game to make the phone calls. If I'm Josh Heupel, I'm pulling my cell phone out like Joe Horn did when he was with the Saints and he scored a touchdown. You remember that ball storm?
Yeah.
I'm pulling it out of my back pocket. I'm calling right on the spot.
I can imagine him leaving a voicemail going, "I know you there, pick up."
Josh Heupel leaving messages during the game. Hi, it's Josh. I just want to leave a message. They out here faking these injuries. Help.
Well, you know why he would have to leave a message, right?
Why is that?
Greg Sankey too busy flying back and forth from the Alabama and Georgia games.
Hey, if I'm Greg Sankey, I'll be flying back to the Alabama Georgia games too. They give me some championships. I gotta treat them real good. I can't wait to Tennessee get into that category, get that VIP treatment.
Oh my gosh! Hey, speaking of games, why does your hero Chris Doering say that Kentucky's gonna go 11-1?
I hate you, man. Why do you have a good memory? Okay, why do you have?
Because I listened to the show today.
Oh man, I used to love Mr. Chris Doering, man. He made me want to play for the Gators, play receiver for the Gators. But I don't know what he on right now. And I like
what
Mr.
you
Chris
were
Doering.
on.
Hey, he was a baller.
Yeah,
Why
what
would you
you
not
were
want
on.
to be really a good player like another good player? But I don't know what Chris Doering. I don't know what he's doing right now. And I like him a lot. I've been on the show a couple times. I better be nice if I'm gonna try to ask him to be on mine. But still, I don't know what that's going on. I don't know what's going on.
I
with
was referring to the Florida part.
Oh yeah, well, I mean they were good.
Yeah.
They was good, man.
Kentucky has a soft schedule this year, but they're not winning 10 games.
11.
Oh yeah,
Chris Doering said 11-1, and the L is coming against Tennessee.
Which I
see that.
Could you envision a more Mark Stoops-esque season at Kentucky, breaking program records and losing to Tennessee, baby?
I mean, it does sound.
I mean, that sounds like Mark Stoops.
It does sound.
Here's the thing,
the last couple of years.
The thing. I know they got a soft schedule and they're playing both the Mississippi schools this year, but I could see him having a hard time with Kiffin.
The schedule is Charmin soft. I mean,
yeah.
When Lane Kiffin and the Ole Miss Rebels are well, debatably arguably the second toughest team you play on your schedule. I think your schedule is soft as Charmin. They play Miami of Ohio, at Florida, Youngstown State, Northern Illinois, at Ole Miss, South Carolina, Mississippi State, at Tennessee, at Missouri, versus Vanderbilt, versus Georgia, versus Louisville. The at Tennessee and at Ole Miss are your second and third toughest games on the schedule. And to me, that doesn't speak very highly of your schedule.
I mean, listen, I'm not throwing any shade towards Kentucky too much here. I'm jealous. Like, can we get a schedule like this?
We ain't never got a schedule like that.
Yeah, and look, I don't say that to say that Kentucky's going to be a bad football team. Those who subscribe to VolQuest know that I'm pretty high on Kentucky going into this season. I think they're going to have a good football team. But when I think of 10-win and 11-win football teams, I think of the recent LSU and Georgia and Alabama level teams. I don't think of last year's 10-win Kentucky team that benefited from barely beating UT Chattanooga at home and beating Louisiana Monroe in the opener. Like they're going to be a good football team. That game against Kentucky for Tennessee is going to be tough, but they're not going to be an 11-win team, 10-win team because they're just so dominant. That if they were to get to 10 or 11 wins, which isn't crazy, it's because their schedule is so soft.
Yeah, it is soft, softer than Knox's diaper for sure.
Hey Ben,
That's
since you've done the breakdown, what do you think of Will Levis?
I don't think he's a first round pick.
No,
I do see why the NFL is higher than him than college football fans. College football fans forget that the NFL views it through a different prism. They're viewing it off of the tools that could blossom in to different things at the NFL level. And he has a rocket of an arm, and he's mobile. And if you're an NFL team and you're thinking that you can work with a quarterback, I mean, those are two of the top traits that are going to come to mind. And he was only a part-time quarterback at Penn State, and then he became one of the most effective passers in the country last year, completing 66% of his passes. So I somewhat get the first-round buzz just because he does have a big arm and he's mobile. But in terms of what he is now, he's not a first-round quarterback. He's not going to go out there and have a Bryce Young, C.J. Stroud type of season. But I think he's good. I think he'll be a handful to deal with. He's talented for sure.
Yeah.
All right,
guys,
folks.
before I go, hey, Swain, I know what your stance is on booing players. What's your stance on booing co-hosts? I'm not talking about Ben. See you, boys!
No, that ain't nice. That ain't nice. You know my stance on booing players.
I didn't know Charlie Burris was on the show this week.
Ooh.
I'm just kidding, Charlie.
Why I like
You're the first one that came to mind.
Why I like making things uncomfortable? Why so awkward? You're just awkward. Just an awkward guy. He's used to making other folks feel awkward. Just awkward, man. Oh boy. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. Just awkward, man. Just awkward.
Can we talk about Florida when we come back
Yeah,
from
let's
break?
do it.
So I can diss Florida since I'm sure somebody is texting in on the text box, or somebody's on hold, or somebody's already starting a thread on VolQuest about Big Blue Ben. Like I propped up Kentucky a little bit, although I think I actually diminished what they could potentially do this season. Somebody's going to take that and run with it. So I need to come back, and I need to throw Florida under the bus.
Listen, man, Kentucky is a good football team. They'll be good this year. Two things can be true at the same time, and they still lose to Tennessee. So
The Mark Stoops way. Historic seasons with losses to Tennessee.
I can see it, man. I can see it happening. 100%. All right, we'll take a quick timeout. Stay with us. Swain Event, fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Guys, if you notice a lack of energy, motivation, and drive, it could be low T. You know you need to stop playing around and schedule your complete health assessment at Low T Center. They now offer the convenience of monitored, self-inject, at-home testosterone treatments for just $155 a month cash pay, or covered by most health insurance. If you don't live near a Low T Center, or you just want the convenience of at-home treatment, all good. Low T Center makes it easy to get started on treatment. Only your first 2 visits are in person. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your appointment online. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
Hey there, Swain Event fam. Happy to be back with you on the weekly show, and although our Swain Event schedule has changed, I'm still here on a daily basis to help you with your real estate needs. So if you are still looking for your forever home, give me a call. Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty, 865-257-7897, or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. And go Vols!
You're listening to the Swain Event.
You don't say.
Fueled by Dead End Barbecue.
I know y'all see Velus Jones out there. I know y'all see him. I know y'all see him. I mean, I haven't even. I didn't even see it live. To be honest.
Shame. What a shame. What a fake Bears fan. I mean, I've sat here. I've watched every single minute of the first 5.5 quarters of Bears preseason football, and I bet you haven't watched a single minute. You're a bandwagon just like you are with your Bulls.
I watched the game up until it was time to do the show. I don't have it on in here, because then I wouldn't be
Do you remember that it was Thursday?
Yeah. I'm over here like watching the Bears game, and it's Thursday, and I saw Bears go down there and piss away on third down, throwing it behind the line of scrimmage, kicking a field goal. I saw it. Santos hit a field goal. I saw a first drive where Justin Fields was hurried literally on every passing play. I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, that was not pretty. I like Justin Fields and think he can be pretty good, but man, the Bears need to fix their offensive line. Speaking of Velus, he just caught a nice little wide receiver screen and got busy.
Nice.
Made a guy miss. Got up field 7-8 yards.
There ain't no surprise there. I did see the opening kickoff with the fumble too. So
I got nervous for him there for a
I
second.
did too,
Darrell
man.
Taylor out here playing too, popping folks.
Because Bears fans, they've been just like pretty much most of the time. Fans don't get on board with some of the draft picks. So with the first offensive pick of the whole entire draft in the third round, because we traded all these picks away, Velus was the first pick of the draft, and so the first offensive pick. So he has to, answer the critics. He's an older rookie, but I think he's going to do that. I ain't worried about that at all. He's going to do his thing.
I know he's going to do his thing because one of the first talking points for Louis Riddick on the broadcast was about Velus Jones impressing the coaches during training camp. And you know where Louis Riddick got that from? It wasn't from his own eyeballs watching practice. That may have helped, but I guarantee you the coaches were talking up Velus to Louis, and that is why Velus was one of the first talking points on the broadcast tonight.
100%. That's where the announcers get the information. Hey, man, you catching on to this media stuff.
Maybe I'll have a career in it.
Maybe. All right, let me check out this awesome text box. What's going on, man? We 2 weeks away. 2 weeks from at this very moment, we're gonna be what?
Halftime.
Like halftime.
Yes, and can't wait to be at halftime instead of sitting here looking at your face.
Hey, man.
I'll be honest with you, Swain. I know I'm in the minority because it impacts me differently because I don't have a normal job and a normal work schedule.
Mm-hmm.
But I love that Tennessee is playing on a Thursday night because I can sit around all day on Saturday and Sunday and watch football.
You selfish.
I am selfish. I am very selfish.
You're not thinking about the people that got to get up the next morning, take their kids to school, go to work. This is gonna be different for them. They can't really go all out at the game like they really want to. Some of them can't even go to the game because it's on Thursdays. And here you all bragging, rubbing it in.
Well, I'm more so saying that I'm glad I can watch the rest of college football during the weekend because typically I don't get to watch college football because I'm covering Tennessee and you miss over half the day of college football. So I love watching college football, so I get to watch more of it when Tennessee plays on Thursday. Now, if Tennessee was playing a legitimate opponent, then I would not have that same opinion. Tennessee should never play a legitimate opponent other than Saturday, or I know Georgia Tech a couple years ago was on a Monday night. That was a little weird, but at least it's Ball State. I mean, who cares? It's Ball State. That's kind of the way I look at it.
Don't disrespect him.
Swain, I kid you not. I could not remember that Tennessee was playing Akron week 3 until I forced myself to look at the schedule like last week. I knew Ball State was the opener Thursday night. I knew Pittsburgh was week 2, the day before my birthday, and I knew Florida came to town at the end of the month, and then Tennessee goes to LSU to start October. And I just knew that a cupcake was sandwiched in between Pittsburgh and Florida. But all summer I have not been able to know who that team was or remember who that team was. And that was on purpose because I could literally care less about Akron football. Literally could care less.
Ben.
I think of Akron football, I think of LeBron James.
Well, I do too. But Ben, what your birthday got to do with the schedule? Why are you trying to slide in a reminder to people that it's your birthday so you can get good presents? You ain't slick, Ben. You ain't slick.
I don't want presents. I'm old. I just want to eat good food and have me a nice cup of Jack, and I'm good.
You ain't slick, Ben. Did y'all catch that? Did y'all catch Ben? 2 days, day before my birthday. The Pittsburgh game was, the day before my birthday.
I hate you.
He trying to remind everybody so you can get a present. All right, Ben, go ahead and give people your Venmo and your Cash App, all right? So you can get your little money for your birthday.
I'm at the age where I don't want people to know it's my birthday because that means I'm getting older and older.
You just said it.
I'm going to be 27 this year, and it feels like we're going to be 47.
You're insulting people who are 57 right now and 47, and you just reminded people when your birthday was. You ain't slick. You ain't slick, Ben. Pittsburgh, day before my birthday. All right, let's get to the phones. All right, who we got? Good evening.
Oh, you want to talk about being ashamed? How about, do you even remember your birthday last week when you called in?
I did not call in, if you remember correctly.
No, that was your brother.
My birthday 7 days ago.
Your brother called in.
But look, the world. Y'all see how McKee is trying? He tried me and got it wrong out the gate.
No, I didn't get it wrong. See, you calling me out for getting it wrong when you're forgetting that you called in the Josh and Swain when I was co-hosting earlier that day.
C-Mac was probably high.
Called in. Wait.
Crickets.
I called in the day after. So once again, you got it wrong. You want to keep trying me, man?
Well, it also shows where you are on my list of people I care about that I don't remember what day your birthday was.
Stay off
the weed.
I'm kidding, T-Mac. I hope you're having a great
definitely
day.
The ones
how
that
are you tonight?
Chew and the ones that you drank. Stay off of those. Stay away from those, kids.
T-Mac, what are you doing? How are you?
I'm well, McKee. How are you?
I'm well. I am very well.
I came to derail Revis this conversation about your birthday, whenever the hell it is.
Hey, what you getting Ben for his birthday? Because, he clearly wants to know. That's why he reminded us.
I got him one of these. Got him a good hand clap.
Hey, did you know the Pitt game was the day before Pitt's birthday?
Go ahead and stop that right now. What? No, I ain't gonna be like that because you might try me again. And I'm not gonna ask about the numericals. But I didn't miss the key try and attempt. Y'all stay away from my number. We gonna stay away from my number. McKee, baseball season, man. I had a chance last week to go catch a Rockies game and go see the Cardinals, and of course, with me and my luck, I couldn't go to the game that was actually on the 11th. So I went a couple of days early to start of the series, and of course, with my luck, they ain't starting nobody except Goldie and Nolan, but Pujols he didn't play, and Yachty didn't play, but I did get a chance to see him. see him kind of there at on the ball field, and that was pretty cool.
C-Mac, where is your energy?
Where the sun is?
Oh my gosh!
I'm trying.
Are you
I'm
asleep?
trying to figure out what kind of dog that was in the background.
What are you doing right now? C-Mac, where is your energy,
what?
dude?
Look,
are you alive right now?
Wait,
are you like
pause,
half dead?
Pause.
Huh?
Pause. Let me go ahead. Let me, for months, since April, I have been hearing all y'all complain about how much has changed my morning routine, but not now one of y'all has considered how much this has messed up my entire day routine. All right?
Well, at least you got some energy.
Blame Swain. Hashtag blame Swain.
Well, I'm glad you got some energy finally.
I know I have energy. It's starting to get towards the end of my day where I'm winding down as opposed to you thinking that's first thing in the morning.
7:25.
You know, leave that coffee alone, because we all know if you drinking coffee this late, you doing it for bodily function.
I'm regular. I don't need to do all that.
Whatever. Ain't nobody else drinking black coffee at 7:30.
Do you have a sports related question to ask?
No, C-Mac.
Yeah, I actually do.
Thank you. 13 minutes into the call. What you got?
It's only been 4. Whatever.
What you got, C-Mac? Wake up. Wake up, man.
I know. All right. Defense, bodies. And do we have enough bodies to get to a UAB game, to stretch out some legs, to get some good people some work? You might have forgotten that game, that sandwich in between, but that is a fair mile marker in the season, right?
What
At
game?
that point, the one that Ben forgot about. Didn't he say something about UAB?
Oh, Lord.
Akron.
Oh, my gosh.
Akron, that's it. My bad.
We play UT Martin. UTM.
Hey, look, I ain't be looking at the schedule neither, okay? To Ben's point, I don't be looking at the schedule neither.
Can somebody wake C-Mac up?
C-Mac's awake. Look, C-Mac, I look at the schedule and I see UT Martin on the schedule, and I start rubbing my hands together. You know who the head coach is at UT Martin, C-Mac?
No.
Jason Simpson. You know, Jason Simpson has a son that plays college football. You know what school he went to? Alabama.
Okay, your point and all this.
Oh, I remember how they handled recruiting.
Josh Heupel's about to.
Let me know when that kid hits the portal. You hear me? Let me know when that kid hits the portal, because it's gonna happen.
We'll let you know. We'll wake you up when he's in there. All right.
Do that.
All right, C-Mac. Oh Lord, jeez. C-Mac can't be calling in low energy, man. You gotta turn it up. Man. We are 13 days to kickoff.
14.
Nah, they over. This 9:28. It may be 14 to
that
C-Mac.
logic,
C-Mac on that Pacific time. It's almost Friday over here, man. It's Friday over here. The day's over here. 13 days, man. 13 days. C-Mac. My goodness. Will Tennessee score more than 60 against Ball State from 44 ball? Well, I mean, I hope so. Y'all know my philosophy. If you're going to pay another team, get your money's worth. Don't be beating the team 32 to 7. Get your money's worth. 60 points. Hang it on them. Nobody care about their feelings. They about to get a new weight room. They'll be all right. They about to get a new film room, courtesy of Tennessee. They gotta earn it. Drop 60. Then we gotta get other guys in there. So, I'm gonna go high 50s. What about you, Ben?
High 50s for what? I'm sorry.
The amount of points that Tennessee's gonna score in the Ball State game.
Well,
what are you doing? Planning your birthday party?
Well, I was trying to figure out why Kari's not playing, and then they just showed him on the sideline with his wrist in a brace, so that threw me off there.
He needs to go back to the Titans, man. Bears bad luck.
Apparently. I'd like to say 50, but I got my hopes up for them scoring 50 on whatever team they played to start the year last year, and they came out and barely got to 35. But, no, I think this year is going to be much different. Obviously, Hendon did not start that game last year. There were opportunities left on the field in that opener last year, I think, because it was the first game for the players under a new coaching staff. It was the first game for the coaching staff at a new place, and you won't have to deal with all that. All the players except for the newcomers and all the coaches, they know what it's like to go through the ball walk and run through the tee and all that. So obviously there will be pre-game or first game jitters, but I don't think it'll be as sloppy as it was last year. There will be sloppiness at times because it's the first game of the season. There always is with every single team in the country.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think it'll be as sloppy as it was last year, and there will be missed opportunities like there were last year. So I think they'll score 50 for sure.
Yeah, I'm going 50, high 50s. I just think Hendon looks really, really good right now. I think offensively, I feel like you got to build confidence with receivers outside of Cedric Tillman, and you can't be doing it just giving the ball just to Tillman. You gotta feed some of the other guys around Tillman to make sure their confidence, I think, is high going into the Pitt game. So you gotta throw it, man. You gotta throw it. And Joe Milton's not a normal backup. So you're gonna throw Joe Milton out there and just, run the ball like he's some third string dude? Nah, man. Joe looks good. And
he needs legitimate game reps.
He do.
We talked about this last week. He looks much better, but he still has to go prove it in an actual game against somebody else.
Yep. So we gotta play. We paying money. We are paying money to Ball State for them to come down here and us play them in a football game. Like, I don't got time for no 32-14 game. I ain't got time for that. We gotta put the points on the board that represent the type of team that we have against the type of team that they have. We can't be pumping the brakes and doing all that stuff. I think the best way to do it, if you want to pump the brakes, take out the talented players. Put in less talented players. You still be aggressive. You can't turn off and on aggressiveness. You can't. You can't tell them, whoa, boy, against Ball State, and then go, sick them in Pittsburgh. No, man, it's sick them all the time.
Yes, and emphasis on Pittsburgh because that week 2 game is going to be a slobber knocker.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, that is a game that I truly believe is going to be tougher than people realize. I think Pittsburgh is going to have a really good team. The Pittsburgh media is really talking Pittsburgh up, and I don't think that's because they simply cover Pittsburgh, because I think it tends to be the opposite. That people that cover the team on a day-to-day basis are so used to talking about the weaknesses and the holes of a team that maybe they can be caught off guard by how good they're going to be.
Yep.
So, I mean, there are Pittsburgh media members that have been covering that team for years that flat out say, like, 10-2 is the expectation. And for a team like Pittsburgh to have those expectations, I think personally is very telling. So, the receivers, the new guys that need to go prove it in the game, the offensive line, defensive line for Tennessee, they're going to be facing some tough matchups. They really are. And not saying that the new Acrisure Stadium there in Pittsburgh is going to have the atmosphere of Tiger Stadium in Baton Rouge or Bryant-Denny. But at the end of the day, it is still a road game. So that's going to be to me, it's a toss-up as of today, quite frankly. I think Pitt's going to have a really good season. So to emphasize your point, in the opener, you can't sleepwalk through it. You've really got to have a sense of urgency at every single level of every single unit, because week 2 is really going to be a big test. And to a certain extent, I think we'll see how it ends up playing out. But I think, Swain, that it could end up kind of being a swing game for the season. It sounds weird to say that because it's only the second game of the year. But I think when we reflect on the season at the end of the year, it could be the difference between 7-5 or 9-3. I mean, I really think that it's that much of an important game.
I agree with you. I think it's gonna be a big one for sure. What's been big today is Tennessee letting y'all know that the Smoky Gray OGs are coming back. Don't get crazy now. I know how uniform talk can just take over a show. It can just take over your time, and everyone can bring out those takes. So we will take another timeout, come back, wrap everything up for tonight, and then finish off with your take, our take on the latest from Tennessee football, dropping the OG Grays this year. 865-255-03 is our telephone number. We are live, so give us a call. We'll get you in. We've got the text box flowing and going this evening. Use the Swain Event app where you can simply text the show at any part during the show, and we'll read your comment, we'll read your question, try to do the best job that we can to answer that question. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Still sitting on the sidelines trying to figure out how to buy and sell in this complicated market? I get it, and I understand why you're hesitant. That's where I come in. Call me, Jennifer Morris with Keller Williams Realty at 865-257-7897 or email me at jennifermorris865@gmail.com. I'm happy to help answer any questions you have, and whether you're ready to rock in 2 weeks or 2 years, I'll be here. Look forward to hearing from you soon, and go Vols!
Top 100 barbecue restaurant Dead End Barbecue is a no-brainer when you are craving the smoky flavor of quality Q. Dead End makes it easy to enjoy their fantastic menu with online ordering from Chow Now for pickup. Or if you don't feel like leaving the house, then have Dead End Barbecue delivered right to your door by Loco Knoxville or Bite Squad. Cheer on your favorite team with the best barbecue around. Check them out online at deadendbbq.com. Dead End Barbecue. The search is over.
Fellas, do you need an annual health exam? I recommend going to Low T Center to get your complete health assessment. They will check all of your levels, not just your T level. In most cases, it's completely covered by your health insurance. And if you don't have insurance, it's less than $100 for a full lab panel and office visit with the medical provider to give you a complete health assessment. Low T Center specializes in men's health, making it quick and easy, even verifying your insurance. Go to lowtcenter.com now to book your online appointment. Low T Center, reinventing men's healthcare.
The conversation doesn't stop when the show is over.
It's smooth and relaxing. There's no other way to describe the bumper this evening. What and how would you describe, Ben, the original smoky gray uniforms that will be worn this season, Ben? Your reaction?
I love them. I really, really do. I think it is, against Alabama, the orange breeches should be worn both home and away. And against Alabama and Georgia, I think you should wear orange. And against the teams like South Carolina, Kentucky, Missouri, Vanderbilt, those are the games that the alternate uniforms are for. I'm sure that's not how it'll play out. They'll break out the smoky grays, which I really do love. It's just I love the orange jerseys more. That is Tennessee. That is one of the reasons I grew up loving Tennessee. The checkerboards and the orange and the white. Like, you should wear the orange and the white, your school colors, in the biggest game. So that's my only hot take about the jersey. Summit blue jerseys this season The basketball jerseys have not been revealed yet, but I'm sure they'll look awesome. The soccer uniform that they came out with looked really, really neat. So did the volleyball one. I'm sure softball and the Lady Vols hoops will as well. And then I love what they're doing with the Smoky Grays as well. They're going to wear them this year at some point, and then a little bit of a twist in the coming years with different variations of an alternate uniform, which I think could prove to be really, really cool.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm glad they're coming back. You know, sometimes we swing the pendulum too far to the other side. Like, way too far. Way too far. Like, one day you could be walking on an old country dirt road and be like, you know what? That's a farm right there. Let me go inside that fence and see what that cow talking about. And the cow doesn't want you to see what he's talking about. He may attack you. That unfolded. We get it. But not everything did was terrible. Like the Smoky Grays was clean. We don't have to just get rid of those just because they was doing his time. You get rid of him. Thank you for your service. Here's your buyout. You can go. But the Smoky Grays stay with us. They're sweet. They're nice. I like them a lot. So I'm glad that we're using them. I look forward to seeing what other combinations we use and how we get creative with integrating some of the old traditions into our future looks. You see what's going on with the stadium. That's a prime example. You got some seating changes. You got a new Jumbotron. You got the light show that went on last year.
The letters.
But you also got the letters, which is, you know, honoring the past. So you got a little mix, man, of you're moving forward with the future, but you're also trying to honor the past too. So looking forward to seeing how creative we are moving forward with some of the uniforms and how you're able to honor some of the past with some of the alternate uniforms.
Yeah, and I even like a new twist of Tennessee in an alternate uniform. And what I mean by that is the helmet of the Smoky Gray uniforms. I know there were endless jokes made about the Smoky Mountains being on the helmet and Butch going up into the mountains with Nike and finding the right color, Smoky Gray. I know we joked on it for many, many shows, but I think it is really, really cool how they incorporated the Smoky Mountains on the helmet behind the Power T. I personally really, really like it. I think it's a really nice touch. So even adding some new Tennessee looks and things we care about here in East Tennessee to the uniforms, I think could be really neat as well. And I'm sure that they will do that in the other alternate jerseys that they'll come up with.
So there's a new TV deal in college football. It is CBS deal with the Big Ten. This will include, NBC and Fox. It's worth $1 billion per season, $7 billion over 7 years is what I saw. And I clicked on the CBS, college football on CBS video today. And I thought it was the SEC getting ready to play. The theme music is the SEC CBS theme music. But apparently that's going to be used when the Big Ten matchups are going to be played. And I'm sorry, Ben, that's just a little weird for me. That's a little weird.
Yeah, I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate that song will not be associated with the SEC. Well, technically it'll still be associated. I don't care that it's going to be on Big Ten football games. People will still think of the SEC when they hear that, just because it's been drilled into our heads for so long.
100%.
I will still think of the SEC, and I will resent the intro to Big Ten football games because of it. That is, as silly as it sounds, that SEC on CBS theme song was one of the sounds of my childhood. And why one of the many reasons I fell in love with college football and SEC football and Tennessee football, knowing that every year Tennessee and Florida are going to link up on Saturdays, and that theme song lets you know that, okay, it's time for Tennessee and Florida to square off. I vividly remember the 2004 game that you played in against Florida, and hearing that and being ready to go. So I resent it. Good for the Big Ten. I still don't understand why somebody is paying $1.4 billion or whatever the final number was, but essentially $1 billion for Big Ten football makes 0 sense to me. And on the flip side of that, how did the SEC only get, you may know the number off the top of your head, Swain, but get as little money compared to that $1 billion as it did in its new ESPN deal? That makes 0 sense to me. Absolute 0 sense to me. I watch all college football. I'll stay up till 1, 2, 3 in the morning watching Hawaii play because I love college football that much, and we only get it 12 weeks, 12, 13, 14 weeks a year. But that much money for Big Ten football games, that doesn't make sense to me. But aside from that, I just resent the mess out of the fact that that theme song will be associated with Big Ten football now instead of SEC football.
Yeah, it's no different than Kyler Murray getting almost the same amount of money as Aaron Rodgers with the contract. It's because his deal was finalized the latest. That's why. Because the SEC and ESPN, they struck up a 10-year deal 2 years ago. So once the SEC gets the new deal and maybe it gets revised once Oklahoma and Texas jumps in officially, like, we're going to be up there too.
Yes, and I do like your reference that you made with Kyler Murray and Aaron Rodgers, but I even think that this is so much more than that. This is like Aaron Rodgers getting $20 million a year guaranteed, and then Kyler Murray coming 2 years later and getting $70 million a year guaranteed. This isn't like I mean, you see it all the time where a receiver, or I think it just happened with Derwin James. I didn't look at the exact numbers, but Minkah Fitzpatrick was the highest paid safety in the league. Now it's Derwin James,
yep.
And if you were to look at contracts next to each other, I bet Derwin James barely makes more than Minkah just so that he can say he's the highest paid safety in the league. That's not what this is. This is highway robbery. I mean, this is the difference between what the NFL is making and what a college or a league is making. I mean, this is a humongous gap, and I just, for the life of me, do not understand it. Absolutely do not understand it. And I think it's more a reflection of CBS, and I guess it's Fox and NBC going in on it as well. Those three companies making the decision to give them this much, which I never thought in a million years that somebody would pay that much money for Big Ten football and Big Ten basketball. That's baffling.
A lot of bread, yeah, man. It kicks in 2024, and this is when SEC teams are going to get big chunks of that $300 million per year pie, piece of the pie. It's about to get ridiculous.
Yes. Well, what's going to be funny is, like, this is like the Big Ten getting $1 billion for their TV rights is like Rudy Gobert going to the Timberwolves for the most absurd trade package ever. Like, Rudy Gobert you should not receive like 6 first-round picks in the entire Timberwolves roster for Rudy freaking Gobert. He's a really good NBA player, don't get it wrong, but that's a haul that Kevin Durant or LeBron James should demand in terms of returning. And that's why KD hasn't got traded yet, because nobody knows what he's worth because of the ridiculous trade that Rudy Gobert was involved in. So if the Big Ten is getting $1 billion, then what in the world is the SEC going to get when it's time to stir up a new TV contract for them? Because, again, if the Big Ten is worth $1 billion, then what's the SEC worth? And this is going to be an SEC with Texas and Oklahoma and who knows who else.
Big money. 7 years. $7 billion. We're talking $1 billion per year. Woo, hoo, hoo, hoo. $1 bill per year. Fox, CBS, and NBC. Ooh, hoo, hoo, man. Oh boy. Okay. And maybe revenue sharing with the athletes is part of the future plan. Maybe that's part of it, because that's been kicked around too. So college football is changing. All I know is when the football games are played, NIL, TV deals, I don't give a damn about none of that stuff. All I care about is watching the games, seeing great plays, seeing the crowds, seeing players play for one another, and it'll be no different than it is any other college football season.
You can say that again. I'm tired of talking about transfer portal,
man,
and NIL,
yes,
and conference realignment. And you especially know how I am. All I want to do, I just want to talk ball. I want to talk ball and watch ball. And college football has become so much about everything off the field. And I get it. And part of it is we're in this business and we have to pay attention to it more so than just a common fan. But it just feels like we barely talked X's and O's this offseason.
Soon, Ben, soon. 13 days until Tennessee. It'll be game day, but we get college football sooner than that. I mean, it's
next Saturday.
Vanderbilt in Hawaii, but it's still football.
Who?
Vanderbilt in Hawaii, but it's still football. I'll be
watching it.
Yep, you already know. Thank y'all for making the show part of the evening on a beautiful Thursday. We are approaching football season. For those listening on the podcast, appreciate you. We will be back next week as we get closer and closer and closer to college football. For Ben McKee, I'm Jason Swain. Hope y'all have a fantastic and fabulous evening. And if you're listening on podcast, hope you have the rest of your day to look forward to. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Peace and much love. We are out.